Okay, so good morning. Morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Repeat after me. Ohayo gozaimasu. Very good. Very good. So many people are still coming in, but actually the time has already come. So let's start. Let's start IGP Year 2019. Woo! Okay, so we are the general chair of the conference. We are very much happy to welcome you all in Japan, Osaka. And we, on behalf of the organizing committee, we very much appreciate for you coming. And then actually, one of the general chair, Betty Muller, could not come because she has given birth just a month ago. Okay, so in the beginning, we would like to thank many sponsors and exhibitors. This year we have many. Okay, so because there are so many, I don't read the names of the institute, just name of the, I will read the name of the sponsors. Diamond sponsor, Osaka International Convention Center. Platinum sponsor. They are the joint sponsor. Another platinum sponsor. Yet another platinum sponsor. Yet another platinum sponsor. And 2 gold sponsors. And 1 silver and many bronze sponsors. And many flower and other sponsors. And bunch of exhibitors. Okay. Okay, so here is a very short conference program starts. We got 23 weekend events. Actually, some of you may have missed. And 13 doctoral consumer students, 3 keynotes, 3 panels, 139 world talks, 227 posters, 35 research demos, 9 3D contest teams, 15 videos, and 22 sponsors, plus 21 exhibitors. And red numbers are the record. And you may already notice, this year, it is the biggest ever. And there's been around 500 people in the last 10, 15 years. But this year, let's see. Oh.
Whoa.
Let's applaud to the conference, to ourselves, to our community. We have some consequences. Good thing is that originally we wanted to have a reception inside the convention center, but this is too small now, so that we're going to have the conference reception in a ballroom in a Regal Royal. Yes, today. But because we have many single sessions, but this room, the main room, is now too small to hold 1,000 people, so that we need to split. We need to have to require all of you to go out, split into this couple of rooms. Okay, so please try other rooms. I can give you some reasons why you can choose other rooms. Other rooms are recommended because there are more power outlets. And maybe you can have a better look of the presenter because we have a second screen showing the close-up shot of the presenter. And the last but not least, I will not read, okay. And we got many social end tools. First of all, you may notice we have many name tag stickers. So you can come up some nice text and then put it on your name tag to begin with your conversation. And also we have a Slack workspace, please use. And also we have photo albums, please upload yours. We got a professional cameraman, photographer, and also you can upload yours. And also we have made the family admission free. Please bring more. Okay, so this is the end of the introduction. Thank you very much. And then I will switch over to Professor Takemura Haruo Takemura, my ex-supervisor, to give a welcome speech.
Good morning, everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you very much for Kiyoshi-san. So on behalf of the advisors on the organizing committee, I was asked to give you the second part of the welcome speech, or the first part is a kind of a housekeeping message like. But this is probably a sort of respect to, I guess, that senior or dinosaur researchers who has been working in this field more than 30 years. Or I may be soon be a fossil researchers as time as go by. All right, by any means, here I would like to welcome you to IEEE 2019 in Osaka again. It is our great pleasure to be able to host the second IEEE conference in Japan, 18 years after the first IEEE in Japan in Yokohama. And I found that the IEEE 2001, I was publication co-chair with Kiyoshi Kiyokawa. I really now feel time flies like an arrow. The great news about IEEE is this year is that this is the biggest IEEE we ever had. And this is because of several reasons. One of them is that the fact that VR technology are now widely known and used by many people. Real-time computer graphics technology is supported by the Moore's law, enables us to create almost any kind of 3D scenes in real time. It is possible to create virtual Osaka Castle and tour around it. Sorry, this is just a photo of the Pixabay photo of Osaka Castle. I had no time to model it in 3D by myself. So the potential application field of VR is expanding. That's the reason why that we have more attendees. Another reason, maybe at the same time, is the fact that there are still more technology to be developed to recreate senses in virtual real. And it is visually possible to see what is octopus ball, or the takoyaki, which is traditional Japanese Osaka snack food in Osaka. However, we still need to develop technology to recreate smell, taste, and texture of foods. If you're working on this problem, you have to know the real food before you create virtual food. This is why you are here to join IEEE 2019 to taste real Japanese food, such as okonomiyaki, sashimi, or a sushi, or a tempura. Okay, so the Osaka Gourmet Night at Kuromo Marketplace on Tuesday evening will help you to explore true Japanese food and culture, followed by the karaoke night, where you can become virtual professional singer on a stage. There are more to be developed. I have been flying by my, more to explore in Osaka. You can, after karaoke, you can visit to Dotonbori to enjoy the nightlife in Osaka. There are more to develop, I think, so that, how can I click this? Oh, sorry about that. So actually, I've been flying for almost 20 years. This is, I'm paragliding, and now this is the real life, so how can I control? This is 360 video images, so that if I had a control on that, I should be able to change that, but I failed. So it's on YouTube, so you can explore. But anyway, my dream is to recreate flying sensations so that anybody can enjoy these sky sports without any danger. So knowing reality is very important for VR researchers. I really hope you to enjoy the conference and get the most out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next part is the VGTC, the Technical Achievement Award and Career Award ceremony.
Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. I'm Henry Fuchs. I have the pleasure of presenting the awards for IEEE Visualization and Graphics and Technical Committee, which bestows technical awards in virtual and augmented reality to recognize individuals who have made significant research contributions to our field. Here are the names. I could in fact stand in front, you see, one of the great things about wearing a microphone. Here are the names of the past recipients of these awards. Before announcing this year's award recipients, I want to make two brief points, very brief points. First, I want to encourage each of you to consider nominating someone for each of these awards. Please send nominations to the email address at the bottom of this page. And by the way, if you forget that email, don't worry. Just do a web search for IEEE VR Awards, and you'll find it. Second, I want to assure you that each nomination is carefully considered by the awards committee and that conflicts of interest are strictly monitored. Any awards committee member with a conflict of interest relation to an award candidate is automatically excluded from any deliberations or voting on that candidate. So please send in and keep your nominations coming. Now, the first award is for technical achievement. The 2019 Virtual Reality Technical Achievement Award goes to Anatole Lecuyer. Anatole Lecuyer of INRIA France, in recognition of his research on using brain-computer interfaces and pseudo-haptics in virtual reality systems. Dr. Lecuyer has been working in VR for over 2 decades. He coined the term pseudo-haptics in his dissertation research to describe how appropriate visual feedback could induce a haptic illusion of physical displacement when using an isometric device. He later played a key role in introducing BCI to VR research, and over the past decade has led the OpenVibe project, whose open source software is used by many researchers worldwide to support real-time processing of brain signals. IEEE Visualization and Graphics Technical Committee is pleased to award Anatole Lecuyer the 2019 Virtual Reality Technical Achievement Award. Okay? Thank you. Oh. Yes. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Henry. It's at the same time a pleasure, a big surprise, and an honor to be here today for receiving this award. My first appearance on the stage of IEEE VR goes back 20 years ago, a bit less than Takemura Sensei, in IEEE VR 2000. And this is the first slide that I've made for this first presentation. It was my first presentation ever. I was very scared, a little bit anxious, nervous, also a bit excited, similarly like today. There were much less people in the room at this time. I already had this strong French accent that I still have today. And everything went fine. And so at the end of the presentation, I said to myself, wow, I want to do that again. I want to come back here every year. I really felt that this was my community, my research topic. I was belonging to this field, and I wanted to come back. So fortunately, I could get more than 20 papers accepted here, so I could come back here nearly every year. I think I missed only 2 times. And I will not present all these papers, but I will select a few. First of all, Regarding haptics, haptics is my main and first topic of research. I like to design interactive techniques or rendering techniques for haptics, such as for interaction with liquids or fluids. At the top right here, video, with virtual crepes from Brittany, my region in France. At the bottom right, haptic rendering for wearable haptics and haptic modules for the fingertips. Also inventing new uses and new approaches for haptics, using force feedback for generating self-motion sensation and self-motion illusion at the top left here with the hapseat, the haptic seat, or enhancing tablet-based interaction with haptics at the bottom left here. But the most salient result on haptics is pseudo-haptics. It's a concept that I have developed during my PhD 20 years ago, and I'm still very actively working on it. It consists in using visual feedback and visual effects to hack the haptic perception, to generate haptic illusions and haptic sensations, like here, the sensation of passing over a bump or a hole by solely manipulating the visual speed of the cursor, of the mouse cursor. Then I try to promote a more global perception-based VR approach and a perception-inspired approach for virtual reality and VR systems. Here, examples of applications and rendering technique inspired by the visual perception. On the left, it's depth of field blur effects adapted to the gaze of the user. And on the right, it's visual camera movements added to improve the sensation of walking in virtual worlds. But my most maybe radical move was to start working on brain-computer interface in 2003 or 4, where I started to use brain signals and brain waves from the user to directly control virtual worlds and interaction with virtual systems, virtuality systems, such as here video games on the top left controlled by the visual cortex, or on the bottom left here, another application in VR controlled by the motor cortex. You have to imagine left or right hand movements to move the ball to the left or to the right. And more recently, we started to work on AR and BCI. And it's an example with, I think it's the first example with a HoloLens, where you control a mobile robot directly using brainwaves with those flickering targets and this flickering menu to control the mobile robots. And here the most salient result is OpenVibe. It's an open source software that we started to develop at INRIA something like 15 years ago. And now it's one of the most used tools in the BCI community for starting a research or an application for BCI. And at the moment, I'm trying to unify all these aspects of my research, combining body and brain inputs, combining visual and haptic feedback, in order to create fulfilling and powerful virtual embodiment illusions, such as here this six-finger illusion, getting a hand with 6 fingers at the top left, or this virtual shadow for real humans in the cave here on the right, being embodied in the body of a woman by means of a virtual shadow, for instance, here, when you're a male or the opposite. And on the bottom right, it's another example of combining BCI and augmented reality. You see yourself in the mirror, and you see your brain in action in your head, in this mind mirror, and you can train your brain or re-educate some regions of your brain using AR and BCI. So that's it for my short presentation of my background. I'd like to thank a certain number of people now. First of all, the anonymous people who nominated me. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are. And the jury, of course, for this very wise decision. And it enables me to bring back the trophy to France. So it's the first time since the beginning of this award, the creation of this award. And more seriously, my research institute in INRIA, it's a great place to conduct research. And my team, my colleagues, and all my students with whom I would not be here today, obviously. And to finish, my very supportive family, my wife, Amélie, who's here somewhere. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Arigato gozaimasu.
Our second and final award is the Career Award, the highest award that we bestow. The 2019 Virtual Reality Career Award goes to Mark Billinghurst of the University of South Australia in Adelaide and of the University of Auckland in New Zealand in recognition of his lifetime contributions to human-computer interaction for augmented and virtual reality. Professor Billinghurst has been working in AR and VR for over 25 years. As a PhD student, he helped develop the AR Toolkit library, the first open source AR tracking library that brought AR into the hands of millions of developers and end users, and created some of the first collaborative AR experiences. He also started AR Toolworks, the first AR tools company, which helped grow the early AR industry. Following his PhD, he was founding director of the HIT Lab New Zealand at the University of Canterbury, which grew into the largest academic AR/VR research group in the entire Southern Hemisphere, and was responsible for the first collaborative mobile phone AR experience, the first mobile AR advertising campaign, the first AR coloring books, and many other innovations. He has trained dozens of master's and PhD students, and his innovations inspired many more globally. He was awarded the 2013 IEEE VGTC VR Technical Achievement Award. The IEEE Visualization and Graphics Technical Committee is pleased to award Mark Billinghurst the 2019 Virtual Reality Career Award. Congratulations, Mark. Wait. Wait. Okay, you have to keep clapping until he finishes taking photo. I will make bad jokes. The people, they will not be allowed to take this on the plane because it's a weapon, I think. Okay, we are done. Thank you.
Great. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank my wife and the Academy, although I guess that was the talk from last month. So. But all seriousness aside, this is a fantastic honor, very unexpected, especially given the caliber of people who've come before me, many of whom are in this room, notably also my advisor, Tom Furness. So I just want to spend a couple of minutes giving some words of advice, not talking about my research so much, but the words of advice that I wish I'd heard when I was first here 25 years ago. So there's just a few things, lessons for a full research career. Near where I work in New Zealand is Piha Beach. This is Piha Beach. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in New Zealand. And in Piha, there's as with most beaches, the most interesting things happen right at the shore. So you see where the water hits the land, you have these really interesting creatures that live in the tide pools halfway between the wet and the dry. And so one of the first important lessons is that just like with Piha Beach, most of the interesting things in this field happen at the boundaries. And the very first research paper that I published at IEEE RACE, which became IEEE VR, was a paper that talked about how you could take VR and look at how you could analyze the VR environments using tools from geography and urban design, so taking two different fields and melding them together. And since that time in my career, I've had a lot of success at looking at areas that haven't been put together previously and combining them together in new ways. So my first piece of advice for those of you new in the room is look for the boundaries and try and explore new research in those boundaries, especially for unexplored fields. One of the important boundaries, of course, is between the real and virtual world. And when I was young, I was inspired by science fiction scenes like this from Star Wars, where they're having a face-to-face meeting and the Death Star appears, or Darth Vader's making a phone call and the person appears as a 3D hologram. And so my second piece of advice is to have a vision, and these images inspired me to try and create that for real. And so most of my research career has been looking at how you can enhance face-to-face and remote collaboration using AR and VR to overcome distance or to support new types of collaboration. And even now, with the new work we're doing in the Empathic Computing Lab, we're looking at how we can combine physiological cues to bring in new types of collaboration. But it's very difficult to achieve that vision by yourself and without the right tools. So my third step is to, my third recommendation is to develop tools. And this is, of course, the famous AI Toolkit, which I was very lucky to meet with Hirokazu Kato when he came to visit our lab when I was a PhD student. And he did most of the hard work on that, and I was lucky enough to help him bring this to fruition. And so we produced the first open source library. And in general, just as with Anatole, it's very, very important to be a tool maker. And certainly we use Anatole's tools in our research, OpenVibe. It's a fantastic tool. And if you want to have a big impact in the field, one of the things you can do is make and share your tools with other people. But as I learnt working with Hirokazu Kato, you can't do this by yourself. And it's really, really important to also find people that share your vision and to bring them along with you as well. And so in my career, I've had nearly 500 researchers that have collaborated with me on research papers, and here they all are. And of course, I couldn't have done that without their help. Some of your names may be on the board here, so if you'd indulge me, if you have worked with me on a project, if you've worked with me on a paper or in a tutorial, or have worked with me on a conference, can you please raise your hand? Great, thank you. So I wanted to thank you because without your help, this wouldn't have been possible as well. And so certainly one of the most important lessons is to build a team around you and to have them do a lot of the hard work to make this possible. And then finally, as was in the introduction, most of my academic career has been at the HIT Lab New Zealand in Christchurch, New Zealand. And of course, we all saw the sad scenes that happened in Christchurch a week ago, where 50 people were massacred by a terrorist. This is from a couple of days ago in Christchurch. The city actually ran out of flowers because there's so many people giving tributes to those people. And so I think one of the most important things we can do in this field is look at how we can use the technology to make the world a better place. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first tragedy in Christchurch. When I was still there in 2011, there was a big earthquake that destroyed a third of the city. And so when that happened, we built a mobile app that allowed you to walk around the city and see put back in place the buildings that used to be there that have now been demolished. But with augmented and virtual reality, we have a fantastic technology that could be used to solve some of the really important problems in the world. Problems that lead to the events that happened at Christchurch, or problems around natural disasters, or hunger, racism, sexism, etc. So when you're thinking about the research you want to work on, you should be thinking about how you can leave the world a better place. All of us at one time or other are going to leave this earth, and we want to leave it better than what we had before it. And just if you would indulge me and let me do a little bit of promotion, one of the organizations that I'm involved with is the Virtual World Society that was founded by Tom Furness way back 20 years ago. And this is an organization which is looking at how AR and VR can be used to make the world a better place. So if you want to look at how you can apply the skills into improving the world, I recommend this. So just to sum up, over the 25 years, these are some of the important lessons that I learned. In AR and VR, if you want to make an impact, you should explore the boundaries. You should have a good vision, make and share the tools and toys you have, collaborate with others, and most importantly, leave the world a better place. So thank you very much for your time. Great, thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for that. I'm Rob Lindeman, and I'm lucky enough to be the one who followed Mark as director of the HIT Lab New Zealand, because it's a really great place to go, so please come visit. But that's not why I'm here, and I'll be really quick because I only have 30 seconds. Why we love VR. So when I was first here as a student, and many of you can attest to the same thing, the really nice thing about this community is that it's very open, and that students can go talk to. When I first came and saw Henry Fuchs, I'd been reading all of his papers, like, that's Henry Fuchs, that's Henry Fuchs. But I could just go up and talk to Henry, and Henry would treat me like a normal individual as opposed to the little peon student that I was. So the really nice thing, and the thing I want to really encourage, is that now I'm becoming a dinosaur. Feel free to go up, especially the students, feel free to go up and talk to anybody that you see, anybody that you've read their papers, had something interesting to talk about. and just feel empowered to go and do that, because you are the next generation. So it's very important that you feel strong enough to do that. And by the same token, the senior people, I don't need to tell you this because this is part of the community, but just be welcoming and spend the time and listen. Because this Kyoshi has done such a great job with this conference. We've grown in such a rapid pace. It's really important that we maintain these roots of being very open and really sharing our knowledge. So that's my minute and 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, this is the end of the opening. Please enjoy the conference. And then there is no break. And then we will have a keynote. And then which will be chaired by Anatole.